7 बजे 7 बज गए हैं. So 7 बज गए हैं और हम आपके पास आ गए हैं. So it is nice that we are back on Oops, I Said It, season 7, and this should have been episode 5, but it is episode 4 because we missed one episode yesterday, and it's a personal loss to someone, so it's okay to take a break. And so we are back today. So, how was your day? The weekend is coming and it feels good. I always feel good when it's a Friday coming and then Saturday following and then Sunday hits the week. So it is always nice, and I gear up what am I supposed to do in the weekend, and there's a lot of action in the weekend because Friday also we have another guest. Saturday we will take, and I hate these calls, these ad promo calls. Okay, I'll put my phone on a silent. Okay, and even my guests will do that so that we are not disturbed. You can also put your phone on a silent and not get disturbed during oops, I said it. So as I said, the weekend is always very fancy and I'm always planning कौन से फ्रेंड के घर जाना है, किसके घर में मस्ती मानी, या किसको मैं घर पे बुला सकती हूँ और किसके साथ मैं मस्ती मार सकती हूँ. And definitely my two boys are there, so it is always fun to be with them. And Sunday, Leher, EDMC and Nrityashri Alaknanda presents Leher, appreciating the frontline workers of EDMC. So 7 बजे हमारी guest भी हमारे साथ है, and this is a different dance style today again. Let me get her on to the screen. We have Vani Pahwa over here, the Mohniyattam Exponent. Namaskar, how are
Namaskar,
you?
namaskar. I'm good. It's a delight to see you. How are you?
Oh, good, very good. Life is nice. I enjoy every phase of life, and I'm enjoying that we are meeting exactly something around almost like after 8 months.
Yes, I think Devi, your festival was the last
Yes,
time that we met.
yes. Thank God it was 2020. It was not 2019. So we can say that we
We met
met
this
in
year.
20, yeah, we met this year, and
We
we
met this
danced
year.
this year, and we have done something this year. Otherwise this year is going quite a blank page. But no, I shouldn't say that. This lot is happening online and on the digital media. How
That's
comfortable
true.
have you been with the digital media and this time of COVID?
So I'll take that at two levels. As far as the digital media is concerned, I'm very comfortable with it with relation to work, with relation to interacting with people. But in terms of the dancing experience, yes, I do find that the digital media doesn't really allow you the same kind of depth, the same kind of nuancing that you can get when you are face to face, even with your own guru, or even when you're practicing. Digital media does have its limitations.
Yes,
So
it
as far as art is
definitely
concerned,
has.
performing art is concerned, I'm not very hot personally on the digital media. I can't wait to get back to the way it has already was with all of us, where the digital media
Yes,
is concerned. That's okay, we can keep it to one aspect of our lives.
definitely. The stage has a different fire on it, and
Yes.
you miss the stage and the lights and the action going behind the stage and on the stage. It is quite spicy.
That's the
Yeah,
whole experience. That is
yeah,
all a very big
absolutely.
experience of being a performing artist.
Right, right. Vani ji, you were Vani Bhalla, right?
Yes.
I've come to know. And now you're Vani Power.
Yes.
Bhalla, Bhalla, North Indian, Mohniyattam, Kerala. So, how did this whole thing happen? The whole matchmaking happened of Mohiniyattam and Vani Bhalla or Vani Pahwa, because they're two distinct sides. Although I say the art chooses you, you don't choose the dance. The dance chooses you. But how did your matchmaking happen with your dance?
So, your last statement pretty much encapsulates it beautifully. I think it was very destined. And my journey with my dance, and actually my journey with my guru, was incidental, and it landed up being very intimate, I think, because life designed it so. Bharti ji, who's my guru, Padma Shri Guru Bharti Shivaji, they were our tenants in Nizamuddin. And I was very young. I was about 4 and a half. And the sound of the rehearsals with her, with her musicians, etc. So her daughter and I, we go back really eons. We are like soul sisters. We were same school, and we have pretty much stayed in touch over so many decades. So I used to be down and she used to be up. We used to be on the first floor, they used to be on the ground floor. And the whole day, one of the doors used to be always open for dhad, 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 dhad of feet going down and coming up. And one day, I think what happened was I was very curious. So her door was shut, Bhartiji's door was shut. She was having a rehearsal, and there was a little slit in the door. And I tried my best, to peep through the vertical slit, and I couldn't manage. I went to the hinges of the door. I couldn't see what was happening, but dekhna to tha, what is going on. So I lay down flat on the floor, and I had pretty much my nose stuck, in the door, trying to wedge my face in. And as luck would happen, she happened to open the door. And she was shocked to see me lying flat on the floor at a very awkward angle. And then, of course, she picked me up and she asked me that, you find dance very interesting. And I just nodded. And she said, would you like to learn it? And that was the beginning of my journey. And at
How
that
old
time
were
it
you?
was, but I was not even 5. I was not even 5 years old. And I started with Bharatanatyam under her. And then later, when her journey into the resurrection of Mohniyattam started and forayed, my journey continued with her. And it was just a very inexplicable bond. Today it doesn't matter, Alaknanda, whether you're a North Indian or a South Indian. But back then, when I
Yes.
started doing Mohiniyattam, I was pretty much the first North Indian. I would not even say Punjabi. I would say the first North Indian, to be doing that style. And that was just coincidental. From Bharatanatyam, it merged into Mohiniyattam. As my guru's journey progressed, I was associated with her, so my journey grew with hers. So it's a very, very intimate bond that we have shared. And I got to travel with her and Vijay Lakshmi to, some of the remote villages of Kerala, where she was meeting the gurus and she was trying to build the vocabulary of the style. I was very young at that point of time, but yes, all those experiences did permeate and did seep in.
Right.
So that's
Beautiful,
how this
beautiful.
journey has been.
And Akka is like very sweet. Akka is
She's
very
a hard taskmaster. She's very sweet, but
ah.
when it comes to the art form, she is very exacting. And why not?
Why
That's
not?
why not? She has given so much to it. And as a person, as a guru, she wants to see you grow. She really wants you to imbibe as much as you can. And this style is a little difficult with its delineation, with its body movements, etc. It's not easy to teach fluidity to somebody.
Yes.
Angular and footwork and
Yes.
everything is a lot easier. But to get the flow, to get the essence, to get the overall philosophy of the style. So she's very exacting that way. But no complaints from me.
That's a nice student. And Tamanna Tikku says, Namaste Didi and Vani ji from
Namaste.
Washington, D.C. And we have Vibha Kapoor ji who says, hello, Alaknanda and Vani ji. Hello, Vibha
Hello,
ji. How
Vidha.
are you? So it's very nice. So, what I know of Akka, because I was in awe of her for all these years that I've seen her photos and dance. But she's a very. We met at a party at Shomnathis, and we all were having a very good time, girly time. And Akka was like, "Ayo, ayo, oh no 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 no, ayo." So she was like, "Oh gosh," she was like shocked. I was like, "What are these women doing?" But we had a very good time, and I asked her, "Can I take a picture?" She said, "Sure. Why shouldn't you come and stand?" So she's very sweet, a gem of a person. You're blessed to have
She's,
her.
I wouldn't say that she gets flabbergasted and I wouldn't say that she gets shocked. It's just her nature. She is a
Yeah.
bit of a reserved person, but, once you get to know her, she can be
Yes.
really fun too. She can be really fun
Yes.
too. It's just
Yes.
that everybody has their own personality, their own nature, you know.
Yeah. I know. I have been talking to her during COVID also, just to know how she is. It's always nice to speak to her, and sometimes goes off 30 minutes, 40 minutes. We both are
Yeah,
speaking.
and
It's
it's really hats off to
always
her. I think what many people don't realize because of a reserved nature is what a go-getter and what a fighter she is. If you were to actually look at her journey and you were to look at what she has given to the style, and in terms of giving, I mean, even given in terms of your own life, that's a
right.
huge inspiration for me personally, and that's a huge inspiration, I think, for all of our students. That's one thing we learn from her, that that song which is there, kuch to log kahenge, logon ka kaam
So
hai kehna.
exactly.
She is like that. She is like that. She can really absorb a lot, but she will stick her path. And that is one thing, in addition to the art, as a trait that I would
Right.
really like to learn more and more from her, that resilience. She is
Absolutely
hugely resilient that way.
right. I understand her inner strength. I
Yes.
understand. Uh, Vani ji, the whole thing is that dance and
Call me
academics.
Vani. Call me Vani. I'm very happy with
ओके.
that.
अच्छा, मुझे काफी लोगों ने बोला जी लगाना चाहिए.
आप मुझे
I
वानी
don't
बुलाओ, कोई
mind
बात
it,
नहीं.
if like whoever is comfortable, because I believe it's your show also. So
Yes,
it's like
call me Vani.
whatever you
Call
want me
me.
to call you, I am ready. So
Yeah,
Vani,
I'm
the thing
older, but
is,
don't make me sound like I'm a monolith. So I'm
who
happy
is
with
old?
that.
Who is
I said
old?
I'm older. I'm
No, no,
older,
no,
but
no,
that
no,
don't
no.
make
Who
me
is
sound
old?
like a monolith.
Nobody is old here. No, we both
Nobody.
are sweet 16s.
Yes, I do
You
feel
know?
like that.
Exactly. And I always say not sweet 16, we are 18s because we get all the licenses to drive, to marry, to drink, to do all the notorious kind of things. So we are 18 only, Vani.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
it.
absolutely. What the other nickname that I had for a very long time was Rani ki Jhansi. I don't know why, but
I think all the Indian women would say yes. Rani ki Jhansi is perfect for the women out here, and we have a lot of audience for you, Vani. We have Archie Saxena saying pranam, and both of you look beautiful. Thank you, Kiran Aditi
thank you.
Bahe.
Thank
And
you.
we have Richa Srivastav from London saying Namaste Di and Vani ji.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for tuning in.
How is London doing, Richa? I think little cold right now. And Rituparna says Pranam Didi and Vani ji. And the pretty woman says, you both are looking very pretty. Yes. I love
Thank
when
you.
women appreciate women. It's beautiful. Now, Vani, with the times that we are talking about, dance was not a very common. अच्छा मेरे घर में उत्तपम बन रहा है तो मेरे आंखों से आंसू निकल रहा है. मुन्नी बनाना बंद करो, मेरे आंखों में ऐसे से ऐसे पानी पानी बह रहा है. So today dinner we have उत्तपम at home. So ah, I'm not crying.
Okay.
I love Vani. I'm happy to see her, but I'm not crying. That's just the उत्तपम
खुशी के आंसू
smoke.
अगर है तो आई एम इवन मोर फ्लैटर्ड, तो इसको
हाँ,
जाने दो. आप ये बोलो कि आपको मेरे को देख के खुशी के आंसू निकल रहा है.
बहुत खुशी हो रही है, मुझे बहुत खुशी हो रही है वानी. मतलब हम लोगों
ओके.
को ऐसे डेट पे मिलना था. कोई बात नहीं, ऐसे पर्सनल डेट नहीं हो, वर्चुअल डेट तो हो गया, पर्सनल वाली भी बना लेंगे जल्दी जल्दी.
जरूर. जरूर.
Like, okay, so nice to hear your admiration for your guru. That is Tamanna Tikku saying, talking about you. And Rashmi says pranam Didi and Vani ji. Hello, Rashmi. And Jhansi ki Rani, what a coincidence. We have two of them today on our screens. Pranam to Alaknanda Didi and Vani ji. मैं झांसी की रानी नहीं यार, मैं डॉन सही हूँ। झांसी की रानी वानी है। I always call myself the gabbar of Noida, so gabbar सही है, झांसी की रानी वानी है. Okay,
All right.
Vani, during the time that we were growing up, at that time, dance profession was not at all accepted, you
Yes.
know. And if even if your parents supported you, the society definitely did not support.
Hmm.
So, how did you balance the reactions of the society and then balance your dance and academic and other activities?
So let me introduce another woman whom I admire and idolize a lot, and to whom I give the credit for being what I am today. My grandmother, my nani.
Oh,
I don't come from a traditional family like most of the dancers say that, we are born to uh, dancer mothers or singer fathers, etc. My mother had learned sitar and tabla, but you see, unfortunately, my mother was afflicted by the worst possible case of a very horrible disease called multiple sclerosis, where she was paralyzed. So, most of my growing up years, the only vision, the only remembrance I have of a very beautiful woman, but a very wasted woman, was completely paralyzed and on bed. And, I resemble my mother a lot. So my grandmother projected all her love onto me. And somehow I need to give you a little backstory to be able to answer that question. So please bear with me. And because of my
no,
mother's
no.
illness, and my dad was in the IPS, so he was getting transferred every 2 or 3 years. We had three brothers and sisters. It became very tough for my father also to handle all three children. And I think that's also destiny. All three of us got divided. So my grandmother, my nanny, adopted me. My masi adopted my brother. And my younger sister, who was born much later, stayed on with my father. Right. And then, of course, my guru's entry into my life as a tenant in Nizamuddin, and then my whole attraction towards the dance. My grandmother was something of a woman, even you're right, that time it wasn't accepted, and particularly in North Indian families, and particularly in a family when you do not have a precedent of a parent who themselves is an artist of any kind.
Right.
There was a lot of opposition, but my grandmother stood her ground. My grandmother was the one who would change buses, would sit down on the pavement outside when I would have my classes, and come what may, heaven or hell, she made sure that I continued with my passion. And even when I was growing up, of course, traditional family mein hota hai when, you hit your 20s, your family wants to get you married off. My grandmother was really something. She was the one who said, I'm not going looking for a boy for Vani. Nobody goes looking for a boy for Vani. She has to prove, she has to come up to the mark, she has to make something in her life. Let there be a line of boys for her. Can you imagine a grandmother? I'm talking about years ago, talking like that. And she really made sure. And then, of course, we were very academically oriented. Both sides of my family, even my aunts and uncles, they've studied abroad, and they've been to London, UK, they've studied in the US, etc. So even for my grandmother that way, yes, academics was very, very important. And she had this Hitler's hand on me, where she said that, you really need to balance both of them. It was tough for me. I really had to focus on both, but with that woman supporting me, she was one person who really had my back. I was able to continue with my dancing even through graduation, even when I did my specializations. And then when the performances started coming up, traveling. Now, again, since I don't come from a dancing background or an artist background, that gives people a little bit more excuse. Ye kahan jayegi performance karne ke liye.
Huh.
But my grandmother was like, kyun nahi jayegi? What is she learning the style for? So she really had my back. And as long as she was alive, she made sure, just by her presence, that I always have this strength that no matter what I choose to do in life, even if it's a second profession that I take on, I stay true to my art. Because she would always say, to kya? मतलब now that you're doing graduation exam है तो क्या for so many years you've been practicing तो अब छोड़ दोगी इसको, you know. Marriage तो क्या, you will give it up just because you're married. Profession, you know, so that to kya was such a pinch and such a beautiful reminder that so what, you manage the two together as you go along. And somehow I have always been able to, you know, never really think twice about handling my dance and giving it my everything, no matter whatever else I may do in life. I'm a cancer exercise specialist, I'm a rehab specialist. I deal with a whole lot of other stuff in my life, which also saps me. You know, being a cancer exercise or a rehab for chronic illnesses really takes a lot out of you mentally and emotionally. But dance kind of fills it back for me. So that has continued. And that's how I have been able to manage both. Initially, when I was young, she would accompany me, but then she always had this faith in me that I'll be able to handle myself no matter what. Her guidelines to me were very clear cut. Like I said, she was a Hitler in my life. You know, तो क्या कर सकती हूँ, क्या नहीं कर सकती हूँ was very clear cut and non-negotiable. But that also gave me the parameters and the boundaries that this is what has been defined for me. अब इसके अंदर give it your all. So that is how my life has been.
Vani, I'm so happy today to be very, I don't know how to put it in words. I'm so happy that I am doing this show. Oops. And I had started it last year with my girlfriends. And I must say, Vishal Krishna is here. So he told me कि दीदी बॉयफ्रेंड्स के साथ कब करोगे? तो मैंने कहा मेरा कोई बॉयफ्रेंड है ही नहीं. कहता दीदी मैं हूं ना. मैंने कहा अच्छा ठीक है फिर तेरे साथ ही शुरू कर देंगे. So then
Okay.
it rolled on to let the men speak, and but today listening to you, and I always felt that people should know what an artist goes through. You know, they come, the audience comes to the stage, to the show, they applause, they feel very good, and then they walk out. But coming onto the stage to be there, how much hard work and how much stress or the preparation or the strength that we all take in to be there on the stage, they should come to know. It's
Yes.
very easy to applause and walk out. अच्छा नाचा बुरा नाचा अच्छा नहीं लगा बहुत अच्छा था कुछ और कर सकती थी. Very easily the audience comes and says this,
Yes.
but
It's so
they
easy
don't
to
know.
judge. It is so
Yeah, so
easy to
easy to
judge.
judge. They don't know what's happening home,
Not
what's
at
happening
all.
in our personal life, and how we are coming onto the stage, smiling away, dancing, and then just walking off, with our dignity
So,
and
you know, there's something else I really want to share. I spoke about my mother's illness also. I was very
right,
young. Now that I'm a
right,
mother of two grown up daughters myself, you know, so there were
yeah.
two very hard life lessons that I learned that I'm probably realizing now that how much of those lessons I've learned. One was to see a woman. My mother was apparently a firebrand. Okay, I have very little recollection of seeing even my mother walk because, you know, when you're a child, you have 50 things going on in your mind. So
Yeah.
my memories of her are very sketchy, holding onto the wall and trying to walk at best, and most of the time being bedridden. But whatever I've heard from my family, because they say I resemble her and they say that I even have a spirit. So if I have a spirit, imagine the source is going to be so much deeper and bigger. Now, to see a source of that kind of energy trapped in a body which does not respond, probably that was the most evil aspect of her illness, because she was mentally such a strong woman that, you know, she survived in that condition for 14 long years, Alaknanda, fully bedridden. People will die, they will give up so soon. But can you also appreciate the challenge of somebody so strong willed whose body does not move? I got such a beautiful and such a deep appreciation for movement. I count my blessings every day. There was a time in my life when it was suspected that I also carried that gene for multiple sclerosis. I started having certain movement related conditions, etc., you know. And when I went to the doctor, I was expecting my second child at that point of time. The doctor was very clear. The doctor said, don't. There is a test which can tell you whether you are prone to multiple sclerosis, but it's such a disease. There is no cure for it. don't get it done. If something happens, we cross the bridge when you come to it, right? That was a very big thing on my head. The second thing, what I wanted to really tell you was that, one was this movement, and second was the indefatigable spirit. It really taught me dekhi jayegi. We will only cross a bridge when we come to it. And I really appreciated uh, dance. And then something happened with me too. I had a horrible accident. I fell 2 stories. And I was in physiotherapy for almost about a year in AIMS. I hit my spine. And there was a big, big gap with my dancing, a very long gap when I was away from the state. So all this was happening, among other stuff that was there. I had my second daughter by that time. And everything came together. It was so bad for me that, my younger one had to be put in my arms for me to be able to feed her. I was not able to lift my shoulder, a little bit of muscular dystrophy. Now, when I go back on stage, who knows my backstory? When people are
Exactly.
judging or not judging me, or when people say that, were you or were you not serious about dance? I take umbrage to that question. Who are you to ask me what is my seriousness towards dance? Ask my guru, ask me. She knows the whole story. I know where I'm coming from. And I've even been asked this question, Alaknanda, that, oh, so you are also a cancer exercise specialist. Are you serious about your dance or not? Why? Why is that question there? Let me give you an example. Shovna ji, years ago, she was straddling 2 careers, right? So why should my seriousness as a dancer come into question? First, at least make the effort of finding out why there was a gap. And secondly, whatever else I'm doing, why should that be a source of judgment to my ability as a dancer? Things are tougher for me. If I am still keeping up with my dance and still taking it up seriously, I would say my day is a 48-hour day because I choose not to give up my dance no matter what I do. So you're
Absolutely.
right. When people come and watch a performance, they are clueless. They are clueless what a dancer
It's very
is
easy to sit
bringing
on
to
that
the stage.
seat and, it's very easy to sit on that comfortable chair in a hall with the AC on and
Yes,
to blabber whatever you want to blabber. And you
absolutely.
just don't know what's
Beginning of the
behind.
year, your Devi festival. Before that was Ranjana Goharji's Utsav festival. As luck would have it, I have a little bit of again, because of the genetic baggage that I carry, I have a little bit of a neck issue. The pain had been escalating through rehearsals. I had actually fainted and I had landed up in the emergency ward of Max just 48 hours before my performance, my stage performance. I had cut my chin, I had cut my neck. There was there was a furrow all over. Who knows this? When I came on stage, I asked my doctor, is it still safe for me to dance? And they said, yes. You monitor yourself for 24, 48 hours. And I said, it's a big festival. I'm committed. So, when you go on stage,
Stage,
there's really a
yes.
lot you're coming from sometimes. People
Yes.
don't know. People don't know where you have been the previous night and you are on stage the next day. So never
Absolutely.
judge. Never judge.
Absolutely. And that's why I think I got this show up because I wanted the audience to understand what are the pressures that we go through, what is our journey, what is the journey of an artist. And still the artist says the show must go on.
Yes. अब अगर वो commitment नहीं है तो क्या है?
क्या
If
है?
that is not commitment, क्या है commitment? Tell me.
Exactly. I'm so happy I'm doing this show, Vani, and it's amazing that you were always on my mind. And I would Prabal Gupta is also watching, so
Thank
I
you,
would
Prabal,
say
for joining us.
thanks, Prabal, for introducing me to Vani ji, and it's amazing that we as artists. We try to combine the whole fraternity together and also support each other to take our art forward. I think that's the most beautiful, and I'm very thankful that I'm doing this oops because in this way I'm coming to know about your journeys, and also the young generation is coming to know about your journeys because it's very easy for them to think I should be in those shoes very early and very fast. But what
Yeah.
is the struggle behind it? If I am 46, then 42 years of struggle. If your age is 46, your struggle of another 42 years, 45 years, or 40 years. It's not easy, man. It's not easy.
No, it
And
is not easy.
being
And
a
you know, the
woman,
way we were there, you also know this. Today, the younger generation has many avenues. These avenues were not there for our gurus, and these avenues were not there for my generation and perhaps even your generation. You know, it
yes,
has really taught us to kind of hold our guns and stick in there because things have taken a lot of time to mature. So that little bit resilience and that thick skin you have to develop. Life is not always going to hand it to you like a well laid out buffet or a platter. If you get it, you're
yes,
lucky, but you cannot
yes,
override the whole process. I'm
absolutely.
sorry, you were saying as a woman. I'm so sorry, I butted in.
As a woman, I think we have it more difficult
Uh,
because as a woman, we are multitasking. We are
yes,
multitasking.
also because of the way the female anatomy is. You know, women really need to put up with a lot. Really need
And
to put
also
up
the
with a lot.
society, the way the society demands from the woman or is the expectations from a woman, I think it becomes much more difficult. But I'm not sympathizing. I am very proud that we women hold our esteem, our dignity very well and go ahead with whatever passion and whatever lifestyle we have chosen for ourselves.
See, I always think of it this way that uh, it is definitely not everybody's cup of tea to be a woman. So if you're born a woman, you are born a different way. You are born a fighter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great,
The
Vani.
grace, the strength, everything, I think you're born with it. You just have to tap into it and you have to stick with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Vani, you have done both Bharatanatyam and Mohiniyattam, as you've seen. And
Yes.
both have a very different line of dancing. Or I would say Mohiniyattam has more curves of dancing. And Bharatanatyam has more lines, if I'm not wrong.
It's more
So, how
geometric, yes.
geometric? And this is more
It's
into
a flow.
the
It's
flow,
a flow.
yes, like a river flowing. So how did you balance? Because it's very difficult to balance two styles uh, together because it is possible there's an overlap of the styles. So how did you manage to and why did you choose? Because I've seen more of you doing Mohiniyattam. So why did you choose Mohiniyattam ins- instead of Bharatanatyam?
So, like I said at the beginning of our conversation, that my journey is tethered to my guru's journey, the progression. And yes, I've even performed internationally today. No, I don't know whether people do that or not, but I still remember that there was this tour of Australia and New Zealand where it was a 2 hour performance in different cities. First 1 hour was Bharatanatyam, and the second 1 hour was Mohiniyattam. Today, if you
Okay.
ask me how I did it, I don't know. But yes, we were still progressing. My journey into Mohiniyattam was still happening, and both the styles were being practiced. So I performed both. Why Mohiniyattam? You know, Mohiniyattam is a very, very deceptive style. Use the expression like a river. Now, do you recognize the power of water? Do you recognize the power of flow? It can corrode stones, it can break dams. Yet,
Yes.
when you look at it on the surface, it can be deceptively calm. You may just be mesmerized by the beauty of water, but the power of water can be very, very strong. Mohiniyattam is like that. You know, there is so much control that a dancer needs to exercise. And of course, having said that, grace is something that some people are, I would say, born with a little bit more than others. Grace is something you can practice, but grace is not just an offset of your physical practice or an endeavor. Grace is also an aspect of what you develop as a person. And Mohiniyattam, by virtue of its the body movements, you have to be fully present with it. It really requires your mental and emotional presence. If you're blocked mentally for some reason, you're angry, you're upset, it shows on your body. Your body will not move. When you start doing Mohiniyattam, it's like doing an angioplasty. It'll start moving the blockades out of your veins and arteries, because that is the only way blood will flow. That is the only way grace will flow in your body. It is such a powerful style, and I love what it does to me at every level simultaneously. When I'm hitting it, when my body is jammed, I know it's going to be very tough, but yet I have to give myself that time. Also, the acceptance. It also teaches you acceptance, that you're blocked as a person. Stick with the process and you will begin to flow. So
Wow.
Mohiniyattam is, to me, why I choose Mohiniyattam is because really it gives me physical, mental, emotional, what shall I say? It allows me to delve into the three of them simultaneously without even realizing it. That is the power, that is the beauty. And when you said a woman, I think it encapsulates what is a woman. It encapsulates Shakti. Shakti doesn't always have to be seen in a dynamic and aggressive roop. What is the beauty of a woman? That she's also able to have this Shakti, yet control that power coming out, control that expression of Shakti. That is, to me, that is the beauty of Mohiniyattam. And I know
I
for a
think
fact
even
that this comes from
silence,
my guru.
silence is Shakti
Yes.
sometimes.
Yes. And the beautiful thing about Mohiniyattam is, if you've seen a performance, there is really no beginning and end to a movement. We don't say कि हाथ को ऐसे करके ऐसे करो, दृष्टि को ऐसे करके ऐसे करो. There are no jerks. The body, the drishti, the torso, the feet continuously moving in a rhythm. So that is very demanding. That is satisfying, but it is also very demanding. And that is something, when dancers from the other styles come and try to learn Mohiniyattam, that is the only time they're able to appreciate that.
Right.
That to me is the pull of Mohiniyattam. It is really what life is. Everything goes into the way we do Mohiniyattam.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Amazing. Amazing. Good we are talking. Good we are talking.
Thank
Uh,
you.
but also, Vani, the thing is that when I was growing, um, it was very easy for the principal of my school say that artists don't have a life. It's believed that artists are not financially capable,
Secure. Yes.
yeah, secure. So although I do not believe it, you need to have your brains properly, and you need to do things correctly to earn, and you can earn very well. But do you think finance has a very, very uh, big influence in the younger generation, or what we face that artist to jhola wala hota hai, you know? Do you think a financial ability has been deterrent in people taking up dance, and have you faced it?
I would, to answer your first question, whether it has been a deterrent effect, I would say yes. Also, because what you mentioned, that when you need to be intelligent and when you need to address your dancing journey in a particular way, not everybody may be able to address or think or behave or push forward the way some people can. Artists typically, if you look at even the very renowned and the old ones, they have sometimes been just so immersed in their own artistic journey and in their artistic growth. And you can't fault them for that, that they've really not paid attention to probably changing with the times. And when changing with the times can be today's date, getting used to technology. But yeah, changing with the times can also be learning how to network. Changing with the times can also be, it's a different way of asking. Many
Yeah.
people have this hesitation to ask for an opportunity. So I guess everybody has their constraints. You can't do that. And for the younger generation, I would say that would definitely be a big factor, because when they would look at, a majority of these cases who kind of struggle, they may want to have a financial backup. And I don't really fault that. I don't fault that, and I'll tell you why. I also find that if they, as long as they stick to the sincerity and the dedication towards their art form, whether it is music or dance. As long as, and then they are pursuing anything to give them more financial stability. It can also broaden your horizons, Alaknanda. It can. So sometimes what happens is that the insecurity, the pettiness that kind of emerges, that could be festering from a very real financial constraint. But then when you have a little bit of a backup and you have broadened your horizons that way, you've acquired another skill, you can always fall back on that skill. So I would not dismiss that. That would not make a person less of an artist, but it is purely your own ability on how you balance the two. You need to be very careful about, what is your first pull? What is your first love in life? Are you earning to keep your dance or music alive? Or is dance and music an integral part? But yes, you also want to follow a profession. So for the younger generation, they need to take a call. But that said, the younger generation has to also realize that, it's a tough line. It is a tough line. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
It's not like a 9-to-5 corporate job where whether you do your job well or not, you will still have a paycheck at the end of the day. It's not like that. So you need to develop a rhino's hide, and you need to stick your feet in, and you need to continue with it.
I believe that I echo your thoughts very well, because for my own students, I always tell them that have a profession for your bread and butter, and earn
Yes,
from that profession to indulge into your passion, because
absolutely.
art, dance, they are quite investment. They need investment before you earn out of it, and after
Absolutely.
earning also, you still need to invest. It's a kind of kuwa which takes in, but there's a pleasure out of it also. If I'm
Yes.
doing festival, and there's not much of support for the classical festivals,
Yes,
uh,
absolutely. That's a big
and
constraint.
yeah, if I'm putting in my savings, I have a high of meeting all of you, watching all of you. I get a high of seeing my students dancing in my production, and I also get a high because I see another 1,000 artists enjoying that time of performances and getting involved with the dance styles and the production.
Yes.
So definitely, but it is a difficult task to invest. So I always tell
Yes.
my girls, do a job, make your career, earn money out of it, and then invest in your dance and keep your passion alive,
I
because
think it
it's
will help you
important.
with adherence. It will help you with adherence, and because times
Absolutely.
have changed. Times have
Yes.
changed. So you can't be living in a kuwa, like you said, or on a time warp and, expect everything to be the way it was 50, 60 years ago. It is not. So you have to move, adapt with the times. But again, I keep repeating myself, it does not mean that it should not be judged like somebody is less serious about their approach to the art form. Perhaps they are more serious. Perhaps they really
They're
want to
more
do
serious.
everything that it takes to keep going with their art form.
Yes. Yes, I believe they're more serious, because if they're able to balance dance or art along with another profession and their life, a family life, social life, and everything, I think they're very damn serious about it.
Yeah, and let me be very blunt because your show is called Oops, I Said It.
Oops. Yes,
You know
please.
for a fact that many organizers don't pay well for the
I
artists.
do
Okay?
know.
And there,
I
there
do
is a
know.
cost. There is a cost involved in a performance. You have to pay for your
Abs-
rehearsals. You will pay for your costume. You will pay for your travel. You will pay for your hotel stay. Let's not even talk about putting or attributing a value to your time in life that you are devoting to something. How long will you expect somebody to keep up with that, and even shelling out a little bit from your end, if you do not have a source of income that can allow you to do it
abs-
repeatedly? So then how can you have this grouse that people are not interested? Organizers don't want to pay. आपके पास कोई professional backup नहीं है. You don't have any other source.
Right.
Where will dance, or where will singing, or where will music
Oh,
or
and
painting
if
go in
the
between?
organizers are paying also, it might take 15 days to 30 days to come to your account.
Yes.
And I always felt that with my organization, with the Spirit of Dance, the drafts are ready before the show, because
Yes,
I believe,
I saw that. That was a rarity, and that's a fabulous thing you did. I saw that for Devi. It was
and for
done
all
right there and
artists,
then. for all
And some
artists.
people get it advanced also, because I believe if I do not respect the artist, being an artist, how do I expect somebody else to respect an artist?
Yeah,
And this is our bread and butter. Although the dancers take in very less to their home,
yeah.
but they
Well, there's
should
a
get their
cost
due.
involved, and I think people really need to be aware of all the incidental costs that are involved that goes in a performance.
Absolutely, absolutely,
And it's a
absolutely.
tight space. It is a tight space. It's a very competitive space. So not everybody is getting equal opportunities, and not everybody is getting paid as much. So yeah, all these constraints will definitely play a role for this younger generation going forward.
Yeah, we have Deepa Nair. For me, dance is an integral part of my life.
Yes, I
And
know that, Deepa.
she says, bang on, Vani Pahwa, you nailed it. So true about organizations. Oh, we all dancers have faced it, but yet
Yes.
we manage to, keep our
Yeah.
passions alive. And Soumya Shukla, she asked a very small question for Vani ji. Could you please throw some more light on your profile of career exercise specialist and its association that you may develop with your art form and pass it to those whom you treat? Thank you.
So, to answer this very briefly, Soumya, cancer exercise specialist is a person who is trained to understand a lot of cancers, the treatment modalities, and how you can increase the quality of life index for a cancer patient and a cancer survivor, because it's not just the cancer, it's also the cancer treatment that does a whole lot of stuff to the body, and it creates a lot of functional challenges. Somebody like me would be, because by virtue of the in-depth training to understand different kinds of cancers and treatments, how can we help you mobilize and overcome those challenges? Dance 100%, because dance is, and I said this at a medical forum also very recently, the world is today talking about a holistic system of fitness and a holistic system of wellness. We are born into it. As dancers, we are born into it. It is one of the oldest traditions that this country has. So there is just so much learning for you as a Kathak dancer, for me as a Mohiniyattam dancer, anybody else who's watching, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual are, spiritual. The world is
Absolutely,
looking at
absolutely.
spiritual practices separately. When you dance, all these four come together. So how can I not carry any of the learnings from here to anything? Even the way I will probably talk to a cancer patient, or I may want to, motivate a cancer patient to at least take the necessary steps and not give in to their condition. Dance will 100%, it does 100% influence everything that I do. Everything that I do. So I hope that answers your question.
Amazing. You got that thing spiritual. And
Spiritual,
Indian
yes.
dances, classical dances are very, very spiritual.
Yes.
And in fact, my spiritual guru, Srimad Ramananji, he said that the second easiest way to connect to Almighty or God or the Supreme Power, whomever you believe in, after meditation is music and dance.
Yes.
He said that music and dance unites you to the Almighty or the Supreme Power or to the universe, whatever you want to connect to the higher power. Dance and music is the next, second easiest way to connect. And that's where you said spiritual.
100%. 100%. So when you see a dancer or when you see a singer, when you feel them transcending, it is something that communicates instantly to the audience. I don't know of anything else that you ever watch in your life where you have these two connections happening simultaneously. So music and dance have the power to do it. Absolutely. How can it not
Absolutely.
influence you as a person in anything else that you do when you're not singing and dancing?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's why sometimes the dancers are crying on the stage. Sometimes they are lost in the stage. Sometimes we are in a trance while we are dancing. We are not in this world. It is very difficult to make people understand, because they might think that we are lunatic, or they might think that we have lost our mind. But honestly, I sometimes feel that I have to snap back, you know I have to snap back. Okay, come back. The show must go
You
on. But
how you
yes,
know I guess as artists we have to also, I don't want to sound condescending, but just put it in perspective for everybody out there. When you approach something with a very unidimensional approach, when you're looking at an artist that's multidimensional, how can you ever appreciate what's going on? You can't. Like you said, they may appear as lunatic, they may appear as this or that. There's just so much happening with a performing artist on
yes,
stage. But if
yes.
you're coming from a very restricted space in your mind as a very restricted person, I don't think artists should even really pay credence to that kind of a thought process.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think we are blessed
जिसकी
that we are
जितनी
able to.
समझ जिसकी जितनी
Yeah.
समझ क्या कर सकते
जिसकी
हो आप.
जितनी से हो। और मुझे लगता है हम लोगों में ये बहुत यूनिक पावर है कि हम इन लोगों को इग्नोर करके चल सकते हैं। I think we
Hmm.
have that immense ability to say, "Oof, you don't even stand up to our level of thinking."
I
People are going
wouldn't
to
say
kill me.
ignore. I wouldn't say ignore because you yourself are at a different plane in your experience. So आप उस
Yes,
plane
yes.
हो ही नहीं उस time.
Ha. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And Deepaji says, yes, I always felt a spiritual connect whenever I dance. Perfect, Deepaji. Anita Gupta says, you are spiritually more closer to the Supreme. Definitely. And whenever I dance to Ashtamati, I have felt the presence of Lord Krishna. Deepa Nayaji
Yeah.
says, yes, absolutely. When you're dancing, Vani, what are the major themes that Mohini Attam works on? What is the literature behind it, or what is the mythology behind it? Like when we talk about Kathak, it is more Krishna. So, what is the literature or the concept or the whole mythology behind Mohiniyattam?
So see, as far as like Deepa said, when we do the Ashtapadis are basically common. The thematic is common between Odissi, between Mohiniyattam or any other style that will present an Ashtapadi. That said, Mohiniyattam now, like all other styles, has definitely expanded its vocabulary. So we've done choreographies where we are propitiating Shakti, Devi Shakti in other forms. We've also
Okay.
taken up modern themes. We've taken up, by like my guru has choreographed on Rabindra poetry. We've taken up
Wow.
Ramcharitmanas sung in Avadi. Then
Wow.
Tchaikovsky, we've Swan Lake done to Tchaikovsky's music, the original. We did not do Swan Lake set in the Sopana style of music. We actually dared to have two stalwarts come together and merge them together. So now the definition and the vocabulary is pretty much up to the dancer. Of course, you have to slowly evolve through the traditional to
You're right.
understand the essence, the nuance of the style, and then you go on to the experimentation.
Right.
Even do performing it with other styles, jugal bandis, etc. Or like last year, we'd done Samvad, where I was paired with a chow dancer. There was Andesha was doing Satriya, etc. So there is so much experimentation which is going on. And the basic logic, even with this experimentation, is that even though we speak a slightly wider vocabulary, we do not lose the essence. We remain true to our style. But yes, Ashtapadis are Krishna. But yeah, we've also got my guru's also choreographed a Shiva Ashtapadi, which is a very rare piece. And there's Mukambika Stuti, so you're propitiating the Devi there. Ganapati Stuti, you're propitiating Ganapati.
Ganesh.
Yes. So it's
Amazing.
it's it's
Amazing.
rich repertoire. It's a very rich repertoire.
Vani, tell me about this thing that in the Delhi scenario of the art fraternity, do you think there is a big hand of nepotism, lobbying, and casting couch? Although I know we women like us have not faced it because we have not faced it because we have stood very strong, and people dare to do something with us, or they know that they're going to get the answer back. But yes, do you think there is a space and like the rumors are going on, or I shouldn't say the rumors, the big flash news about the classical fraternity in music is going on. So, what do you think about it? And what do you think should be the stand for the future generation?
Uh, well, things are coming to light. So that definitely means that there is a precedence, and whether that's the field of dance or whether that's the field of music. I'm
Right.
sure there are pockets where there is a precedence, and like you said, we may not have experienced it. As far as groupism, coteries, etc., concerned, yes, pretty much there, and very evidently so also. So I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. What is. But then, as an artist, and that also answers for me as well as what you said, how probably the future generation needs to see it. You really need to take a call on how you value yourself. What is your level of faith and confidence in your ability? How do you want to approach your journey as an artist? Do you want to pander to any of this? Do you want to catapult to any of this? Do you want to feel sorry for yourself, and acquire and given? Or do you want to say, you take a step back and say, all right, I may not get so many opportunities, but I'm very clear about the path I am going to traverse. I'm very clear about, how I am going to go forward in my journey as a dancer or a singer. So it's totally going to be on you. See, as far as manipulation is concerned, the truth always is that there has to be somebody ready to be manipulated for the manipulator to go
Exactly.
ahead with them. So you have to take this personal decision and decide what is acceptable to you, what is not. And the danger, yes, I can understand that, there is a little bit of a hesitation. You may feel that I may lose this opportunity, I may fall out of favor. But darling, that's a chance you take with everything in life. That's a chance you take with every relationship in life, you know.
Exactly.
And on one hand, if we are talking about an artist being such an evolved soul, your art has to evolve you, not devolve you. So you can't be talking one language and behaving one way. Whether the world likes you for it or not, you need to have the guts and the gumption to say that this is me, this is my choice, this is what I accept. It's for the world
Exactly.
to figure out. They want you, they will have you. They don't want you, move on. You will
Wow.
lose opportunities. But then
Actually,
that's
you
a
are the
reality.
one who draws the line.
You draw
You
the
are
line.
the one.
Yes,
You
you
draw
draw
the
the
line.
line. You draw the line.
I
And
am,
don't draw it with blinkers on. You have to be very
yes.
realistic. Don't wear your these rose tinted sunglasses and expect कि सब कुछ ठीक होता रहेगा. And I will also keep cribbing about how people treat me. You can't. You have to decide where you want to go.
You can't do Me Too today after 10 years. You should have tried out that time only, or you should have screamed and snatched that face.
Well, for whatever reason, if that person is coming out today, but I'm saying going forward, you need to be clear cut in your head. I
Yes.
don't know why it takes some people 10 years. Could be that, us time you feel very covered by the persona of the person whom you're learning from. And it could be, I've seen it, I've heard of it rather. I won't say I've seen it, but I've heard of this more than once for me to dismiss it that, is it a case of sour grapes or why is the person speaking out now? What we said, we really don't know what's been happening in that person's life for us to sit
Looks
on
like
judgment on them. But going forward, you need to be clear cut in your head what is acceptable, what is not. And
not
I
acceptable.
think with all this conversation spilling out into the open, it should make it easier for you. There are more people supporting it now than they would have done. Earlier, it would have been hushed up. People would have said,
Yes.
"Aisa nahi bolte hain about a big guru."
Uh-huh.
You know, now
And
the world
also
is a little
that,
bit more
all,
fearless.
yeah, more, and also that I think that today it's about your expectations. What are your expectations? If you can control your expectations, कि अवार्ड नहीं मिलेगा तो भी चलेगा, आई स्टिल डांस, अगर ये
Hmm.
शो नहीं भी मिलेगा तो चलेगा, आई स्टिल डांस. I think that would help to crub off these vices in the society of the art fraternity.
It'll be very individual, Alaknanda. I don't know again, like I said, it's a very, how do you treat yourself? At the crux of it, for me, it all boils down to that. How do you
Abs-
treat yourself will decide your choices, what you will accept and what you will refuse.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I
We all
remember
want
my mother
awards, we
saying,
all want
yeah,
recognition, we all want performances, but at what
at
cost?
what cost?
And really, to
Big
what
cow.
extent, and really, to what extent is my value as a dancer and as a person attached to somebody else giving me an award or somebody else telling me that I'm a good dancer? Yes, you need that feedback, definitely. But everything cannot be externalized. Your journey has to come from within, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Puneet Nangia ji joined us a little late and he's
Yeah,
asking
I
Vani
covered
ji,
that
what
for
made
you.
you choose
It was a
Mohniyattam
very
over
personal journey. It was a very personal journey, Puneet. And I spoke about all the facets of Mohiniyattam that kind of just connected with me at a very, very core level. That does not mean that I do not watch and I do not enjoy other styles. I will still log in, even with the Khajuraho festival going online and it becoming so difficult to watch performances. I will still be running helter skelter with my computer to see, I want to see the performances going on. So I appreciate all styles.
Yeah, I have made it very easy for me with the Spirit of Dance Festival that every festival I try to get in new styles. Like there could be a repeat style. Like this time it was Mohiniyattam and Satriya. So every festival of Devis, I try to get in new artists and new styles so that I can also sit down and watch. And also
Yes.
my audience, which follows me, Malab, I'm very blessed that I have a fan following which will follow me to all the auditorium that I ask them to come. And they also get to see other dance styles. I think that is
So
the best thing.
again, oops, I said it, but we need more people like you, Alaknanda, for Mohiniyattam. Mohiniyattam does get a raw deal. Does get a raw deal. Lot of
I was
festivals
coming
I
to that.
see, Mohiniyattam ka naam aata hi nahi hai. It is never even a thought. And really, why is it beats me hollow? Come on, for organizers to say कि मैं भूल गया या मैं भूल गई about Mohiniyattam कि हमें ध्यान नहीं आया. Really, that sucks as an answer. Oops, I said it, but that's the truth. We really need people to, open up their horizons. It's a beautiful style.
Absolutely.
You're doing it great disservice. You're also doing great disservice to anybody who will get that opportunity to see the style.
Yes.
You
You
have
know,
to have that, you have to have that confidence and bigness of heart to include all styles. Don't become
absolutely.
myopic with those same two, three styles all the time. I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Then what is it teaching you in terms of growth? For me, everything keeps coming back to then what is your art form teaching you? And even if you're an organizer, you may not be a dancer or a singer. The point is you are with art all the time. So are you not
Absolutely.
learning anything? What is the takeaway for you then? Why are you a curator in the first place? Oops, I said it.
That
I'm being very,
yeah,
very blunt and
I
I'm
need
being
people
very
like you to
vociferous
say it.
about this.
It is
Yes.
I need people like you and like you artists to say this because we need to come out and open and say yes. Oops, we
There are
want this.
there have been times when Mohiniyattam has been taken as an afterthought, and trust me, that rankles. That really rankles. One, because it is disrespect of the art form. Second, it is disrespect of the artist. But sometimes we agree that okay, at the end of the day, we do want Mohiniyattam, our style, to come out more, so we do perform it.
Yes.
But it does not mean that it does not hurt. Of course, it hurts.
Yeah.
It's a big attitude problem that this fraternity needs to correct.
Absolutely. I feel the artists, I don't know about organizers. Organizers sometimes I feel they don't. I curated the festival because I was not able to match up my mental strength with the organizers. They wanted something else. I wanted something else. I said, okay, let me do my own festival. So, and I
Okay.
think we need to have a bigger canvas, and that's why this show is called the Rainbow of Dances
Right.
because all the colors together make a beautiful rainbow. Only one color, it's not
Yeah.
fun. It's
And it's
not
isn't it
beautiful.
really unfortunate that you have a rainbow and you choose to go with just the first three colors in the spectrum?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And also, it leaves the audience very not feeded well. you know.
Yes, you
If
perpetuate, you
yes,
perpetuate this kind of a behavior, because if the audience constantly sees a very limited window, what they're being exposed to,
yes,
naturally their taste will never develop for anything else. And every
exactly.
time, Alaknanda, every time somebody has seen a Mohiniyattam performance, our style of Mohiniyattam performance, I'm sure this happens for all other styles for Mohiniyattam as well, they have come back stumped and said, this is such a beautiful style. We didn't even know
Absolutely.
कि मोहिनीअट्टम ऐसा होता है. So when the audience, जिसके लिए एक festival curate हो रहा है, is coming back every time and telling you, this was beautiful, then there has to be a
Yes.
vested interest, I feel, that, you will not want to showcase the style. I don't know why. I would
And
really
as
like
an
to ask the
artist
question
also,
why.
we need to have that thing to give our audience a variety of art form and not be very selfish to hang on to your own self. And
Yes.
if we say
We do a
the younger
Mohiniyattam
generation,
collective. Bharti ji does a
uh,
Mohiniyattam collective every year, and we go out of our way to invite all styles. We go out of our way to even invite different styles of Mohiniyattam, because we feel we come from that space where art is, like you said, it's a rainbow. So why should we restrict?
right,
Let everybody see the beautiful style. Why not?
to think of it, Mohniyattam is synonymous with Padma Shri Guru Bharati with Shivaji, and we are blessed to be associated with her. I have been with her for past 35 years or so.
Yeah,
That's
Deepa and I
nice.
have also been dancing for a long time.
Do you think the artist is very insecure?
I can think of, I would, when I talk about the whole fraternity, I would say yes. There is a lot of insecurity in this domain. And that would tie in for a whole lot of reasons that we've discussed over the evening, including finances, including, insecurities about yourself as a person and how fast do you want to go where you want to go. So everything that we have discussed today evening and all the pertinent questions that you have raised today lead me to the answer yes, because yes should not be seen just by isolation. Why is the fraternity so insecure? There are a whole lot of reasons. So if we really want to kill this insecurity or emerge out of it, we need to be looking at the underlying causes.
But
But yes,
Vani, don't you think that there's enough space for everybody? As I always say that the sun shines on everyone. You just have to wait for your hard work to shine up. I don't know why people are insecure. I don't understand, but
it's
I
a
know that
very
people are
complex,
insecure.
it's a very complex, again, a very personal and a very complex thing. And you also asked me that, yes, in terms of some people getting repeated opportunities, others perhaps feel that they don't get those opportunities. So I'm sure there are a lot of factors that also give rise to frustration, as there are enough factors where, you're in a hurry to get where you want to get. So it's really a combination of both.
Yeah, because I feel if you are little evolved, then you one should understand that we just need to do our karmas. The other thing is destined to you. वक्त से
Yes, and
पहले और किस्मत से ज्यादा कुछ
everybody,
नहीं मिलता.
absolutely. And also would like to believe in that Guru Granth Sahib का जो saying है ना कि जो तेरी किस्मत में है वो कोई ले नहीं सकता, वो तुझे जरूर मिलेगा. It's just that
जी
time
बिल्कुल.
लग जाता है कभी कभी. But ठीक है, and you have to also appreciate that no two artists, even if they're learning from the same guru or even if they have learned the same piece, will express it identical. It's a
Exactly.
very individual stamp. So the
Absolutely.
artist also has to realize that it's good to bring your individual stamp. Don't feel threatened, no
Oh
matter
yes,
how the world
I tell
judges
my
you.
girls. I had performed one of the when I perform some pieces or when I do my composition and the girl, my student will ask, आप अपना वीडियो भेजना मैं उसको देख मैंने I said no, you've seen it. Now do it yourself. Evolve yourself. Open up your mind. I don't want you to be parents.
Hmm.
So it's very important to let your child grow. Let them fly. Let them use their creativity. That's so very
Yeah.
important. And Vibha Kapoorji says absolutely all forms when showcased under one roof, the audience also gets to enjoy more. Absolutely, Vibhaji. That is what the point is, to get the artist onto one umbrella, one single umbrella, like ICCA where you're sitting, and that's lovely. I think ICCA has done lovely work to showcase the Indian cultural heritage and the art form so beautifully in India and abroad. वानी, अब आप यहाँ हो
जी
और ऐसा
आपके
तो
साथ है
हाय हाय एकदम मेरी बड़ी बहुत एक्टर है दीपा नारायण है एंड आई लव टू वॉच यू डांस
थैंक
वानी
यू
अभी देखेंगे हम अभी देखेंगे वानी प्लीज ये
हाँ
थोड़ा सा कुछ
अरे
थोड़ा सा मतलब you see the audience is also greedy so we can't leave them thirsty then I'll come with my other set of questions so
व्हाट डू यू
please
वांट टू शो मी आप देखो इतनी मुश्किल से आपने मुझे एक एंगल में बिठाया ताकि सब कुछ ठीक लगे अब मैं उठूंगी
Abhinay.
फिर भी
I
लाके
love Abhinay. I love Abhinay.
so
आप
the
बैठे बैठे
okay so the one thing that you know which is something so beautiful about Mohiniyattam is the drishti. So and I talk about as a difference between say a Bharatanatyam and between Mohiniyattam. So we look here and we look here, but in Mohiniyattam I am so fond of this over the head look, and sometimes you
oh,
look sideways and you look down,
ah, ah,
and then you look sideways. It is so powerful every time, even in our pure dance movements, or when we are doing this, okay? We are, I don't know if you can see my hand. फिर मैं कैमरा शिफ्ट करूंगी तो सब कुछ शिफ्ट हो जाएगा आप सोचो कि I'm here so
तुम
we
थोड़ा उधर शिफ्ट हो जाओ तुम थोड़ा
here
राइट को शिफ्ट हो जाओ थोड़ा राइट को चेयर मत उठाओ बस तुम शिफ्ट हो जाओ बस हाँ
अच्छा ठीक है so when supposing we are here you it's like you bring the movement down with love and then you take it back over your shoulder to look. It is beautiful. Or when we do this movement when we are here, so when we go over the shoulder, एक ये दृष्टि है एक ये it just looks so beautiful Alaknanda, and lot of the movements that we do, this rising up on tiptoes and then we bend, you connect with the audience, you take a chakkar and you come back and you finish your drishti this way. This is a lot. And the other, the eyebrow movement, when we are looking to the sideways, so the flickering that we do with the eyes. So if you notice carefully, the eyebrows are also flicker. It's never one, two. It's never a dead one, two going on with us. So it's
wow
one, two, and this, and there will be a slight atami here, and you finish with the look there. ऐसा
wow
बहुत है ये these are just the nuances of the drishti that Bharti ji has built into the style so well, and these are so difficult to get. My God, आज भी class लगती है आज भी class लगती है जब वो एक item में आता है so she will stop you right there and she always says इसको finish करो, या अगर नीचे जा रहे हो तो अब ऐसे देखना है या ऐसे देखना है या ऐसे देखना है. कितने एंगल्स हैं पता है मोहिनीअट्टम में. पीपल डोंट इवन अप्रिशिएट और रियलाइज दैट. जब तक आप एक मोहिनीअट्टम परफॉर्मेंस देखोगे नहीं आपको पता कैसे चलेगा क्या डिफरेंस है.
exactly exactly and Ini Singh is here and hello to both of you
हेलो
hello
इनी.
Ini Singh and Ini I had sent the photographs to Vani.
Ask Inni actually. I would like to ask Inni. Isn't Mohiniyattam such a difficult style to shoot because we are constantly moving? हमारा एक pose अच्छा नहीं आता है in a performance because the
But
body is
I think
continuously
the
moving.
photographs that I sent of Ini to you, they're very good.
But I'm
And
saying
what
vis-a-vis other styles, where there are pauses, जैसे त्रिभंगी pause हो गया, या it gives the photographer a chance. So, after a performance, you look forward to your photographs. Mohiniyattam में you feel so nice having done a performance. फिर जब वो photographs आती हैं, then you realize you can't. And so many times I ask the photographer, they say, बाप रे आपका style photograph करना बड़ा मुश्किल है. आप रुकते ही नहीं हो
इन्हीं से
stage पे.
पूछना पड़ेगा इन्हीं जवाब दो आप कटखरे पे हो इन्हीं इसका जवाब दीजिए आप इस कटखरे पे हो एंड But you know what happened? He had sent me the photographs, but during the festival, you're so busy that you don't save it. So I specially went to Ini's place after I got your message to pick up the photographs on a pen drive and then send it to you.
बट जो
Please.
फोटोग्राफ आई मेड दिस मिस्टेक इन्हीं मैं आज आपको पब्लिक फोरम पे रिक्वेस्ट कर रही हूँ वो वाली जो फोटोग्राफ है ना जो अलकनंदा ने यूज करी है वो रंजना जी के उत्सव फेस्टिवल से इट्स सच अ ब्यूटीफुल शॉट वन एंड ओनली दैट आई हैव इन एक्शन जो इतनी अच्छी आई है मुझे उसका एक हाई रेजोल्यूशन प्लीज भेज दो
Public में demand हो रही है. Ini says sometimes to me it's a bit difficult also because I don't know much about this dance, so don't know what is the
यस
correct posture.
यस
Yes. Then
वी
again,
डोंट
the
स्टॉप
whole thing, like the thing that he's saying is that again the performances are less in comparison to other dance form that he gets less to click for the Mohiniyattam. I think
Exactly. See, that is
again the
another
same.
problem of not having Mohiniyattam coming up on stage more often.
Right, right. Vani, Deepa asks Vani Pahwa, give me the look when you look that Krishna was out with gopis. अब वो बताओ look कौन सा है which दृष्टि
I don't know
out with
which one,
gopis
Deepa. I don't know which one you're talking
खंडिता
about.
नायिका में होगा must be from the खंडिता नायिका
When you know,
Krishna has gone out with other gopis like Krishna
अब
is
उसमें
was out
गुस्सा भी
with
हो सकती
gopis
है, Radha
हाँ
can be angry also, Radha can be miffed also, and there's a whole lot of rasas involved there. So
yeah
अब वो
yeah
कैसे देख रही है या तो मुझे ये बता दो अभी उस टाइम
मैं
गुस्से से देख रही है कि उस टाइम शी स्टिल ट्राइंग टू फिगर आउट कि कृष्णा क्या कर रहा है गोपीज के साथ
You know, Pavitra is also here and he says, so beautiful when you were doing the drishtis. So I have this production called Maharas. And in that, Kathak is blended with Odissi, with Bharatanatyam, with Chow. And Kathak again gets involved with all the other three styles. So I always tell the audience that, पानी कुछ हिलाओ मत तुम कंप्यूटर में लैपटॉप में पानी आ जाओ आ जाओ आ जाओ let's see there's always a wi-fi problem so I was telling you about Maharaj and Maharaj has this beautiful Odissi Krishna and then the Bharatanatyam Krishna the Chow Krishna and the Kathak Krishna and with every Krishna I get to dance. But I always say, please don't take me as Radha because I love to dance with Krishna as Alaknanda because my love for Krishna is not like Radha or Meera. My love for Krishna is just love like Alaknanda. So I don't know. Again, as I'm saying, I don't know how they dance or how they love Krishna, but I definitely love Krishna. So let me give me a buzz to Vani that where she disappeared because we are still on with the show and I want her back. I want her back. Deepa ji, okay, इन्हीं I will definitely tell Vani ये वाला मैंने कमेंट कर दिया है sure will share a high resolution of that to Vani and let me see what's happened. And you are angry with Krishna, angry. Deepa ji, let Vani come back online, and then I will definitely tell her to do this. And I'm just आ गई. Okay, Vani,
मैं
by the
बहुत
time
देर
you
से
were
मैं बहुत देर से बैक स्टेज थी आपने आने ही नहीं दिया मुझे अंदर
अरे मुझे अभी दिखा अभी यहाँ पे आया कि आप मेरे बैक स्टेज पे हो अच्छा
वो पता
यहाँ
नहीं आई
पे
डोंट नो
connected. That happens. My audience is used to it. So only today I didn't sing. So I was talking because Inish said, sure, we'll share a high resolution of that. So
थैंक यू
you go there. And also Deepa Naya says, you are angry with Krishna. And also she says, I also love Krishna. I think
Hey
Krishna is loved by
Bhagwan, Deepa
everybody.
wants a full performance. I will take this up after we finish with the questions. Deepa, why are we focusing on angry? Angry? Kya ho gaya, darling, aaj?
Okay, tell me something about your we have a very good time also at the other side of the life, and something like a fan moment or a funny moment in your performance, especially in an international performance, and you felt, oh, this is why I dance. I just love this. A funny moment or a fan moment that you've enjoyed so much.
Mm, will marriage proposals count?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Well, I've
How
had marriage
many?
proposals abroad. I've had
Oh,
marriage proposals abroad. I've had invitations to come and have a drink because they found me very beautiful. And on stage, of course. And when I tried to convince them I'm already married, somebody has even said, leave him.
oh, wow!
Somebody said without batting an eyelid, doesn't matter. Leave him. I was like,
I
okay,
love that.
I
I
would love
love
for my
that.
husband. Yes. But yes, apart from that, the other ones that really touch the heart is when somebody walks up to you and says that they wish they had taken up dancing after they see you. I think that's a very powerful compliment. Or
Yes.
when somebody blesses you from the depth of their heart and says that, beta, what you're doing is so special. Bhagwan aapko shakti de that you continue doing this. I think they really make you feel that it's worth it.
So special.
So
Yes.
special.
Yes.
बाकी तो yes, when people come and say they like it, but yes, जब आपको किसी की दिल से दुआ मिलती है ना या दिल से blessing मिलती है, that is really warm. That is really warm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I really love that marriage proposal one.
Yeah,
That was
and
really,
the
and even leave
without
him.
batting his eyelid, he says, "Leave him." And I said, "He's a handsome guy." He says, "I don't care, leave him." Without even seeing what my husband looks like, he was just so
And,
cocky
and
and
what was
confident.
your husband's reaction? What did he say?
Yeah, my husband is very much that way. My husband always says, "अगर तुमको संभाल सकता है तो ले जाए."
Uh, and he knows it very well. Living with an artist is
He
definitely a
says,
task.
he says, I live with Jekyll and Hyde. ये सुबह कुछ और होती है, शाम को कुछ और होती है. Because सुबह is the first half I devote to my other profession, and शाम को is the rehearsal and everything. So he says, कभी
Yes.
कभी ना yeah, it feels like I'm living with two women in one house.
Oh, so sweet. So
But he's
sweet.
very
That's
candid, Alaknanda. We were together in college, okay? I know this is taking a
okay.
lot of time, but
No,
since
no,
you
no.
are
I
talking to
love
me,
this. I love this, Vani.
so we
I've
were
heard
together
about
in college. पहले तो
yes.
and now he says it. पता है शादी के 26 साल के बाद now he admits कि कहता है पहले when she used to perform in college because I used to like her तो मैं देखने चला जाता था मुझे कुछ समझ में नहीं आता था I couldn't understand what she's doing I just went because I felt बुरा मान जाएगी but now when I ask him or when I tell him I have a performance will you come and then he says yeah of course I'll come I'll definitely come but
Oh,
sometimes even I don't know what that look means. Yeah, of course I'll come. Like now, you're my wife, so I will come. So
come. Oh, so sweet. So you had a love marriage.
yes,
So cute. So
we
how
were
long was your
together.
romance?
Well, we were together in college. We were in SRCC doing economics honors, and we weren't even going around. But Delhi University seemed to think we were going around, and then we had posters of us coming up all over college university saying, "Rajat ka favorite channel kya hai? Akashvani. Rajat ki favorite dish kya hai? Dahi bhalla." All takes from my name. And we got married also like that. We were very good friends. And then one fine day, I just asked him, I used to call him Pawa, not even Rajat. I said, Pawa, shadi wadi karni hai. So he looked at me, he says, Kare. I said, Chal kar lete hai.
I'm loving this. I'm loving this. This is so cool an evening. Absolutely a must evening. मतलब
Yeah.
मुझे मारवी जी का पता चला she is a runaway bride. मतलब खुद भाग के
भागी
मतलब
नहीं, but हाँ, I mean, like
हाँ
we are
बस.
like two. एक एलपीजी का, एक भारत गैस का सिलेंडर अगर एक घर में आप ऑन कर दो, मियाँ बीवी ऐसे हैं.
And how do your girls take it?
Uh, my girls have now learned to be very deft about it, So they just look at dad and they say, Dad, when mom says something, सुन लिया करो चुपचाप, because आपको बाद में मानना ही पड़ेगा.
Smart girls,
Very,
I must
very,
say.
very,
That's
very.
cool. Amazing, amazing. This is lovely. Thanks for sharing this. And Deepa is quite shocked, and she's written कि एक
I didn't
मिनट
propose.
Deepa.
I didn't propose. I asked the question. I asked the question, Deepa. Let me clarify. कि करनी है. It was like करोगे नहीं. I mean, like hell, I will propose.
उसने लिखा है रजत को लीव करो. मतलब she's literally shocked. And so you propose great and amazingly propose. And Lakshman Raoji is saying amazingly propose. Thank you Lakshman Raoji for joining the show.
Thank
सही
you.
टाइम पे ज्वाइन किया आपने एकदम.
Are please, somebody tell him that we've had a lot of conversation on dance before. We were not just discussing my marriage proposal.
Exactly. No, 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 no. They'll be watching the whole show again on the
Okay.
YouTube, or they will rewind this. And Puneet Tanya has already done a watch party of the show, so this is going to be watched. This will go up to 2,000, 3,000 audience. Don't
Oh
worry.
my God. Oh my
Everybody
God.
goes back. So this is really cool, and this is the best thing about the show, that you all my friends, all of you, share your personal life, which we don't share otherwise in a performance or in an interview. An artist is supposed to be very serious and very boring. Sometimes I say that look and that way only, which is not so happening. And we have the other funky side to ourselves. So, what's
Yes.
your
Yes.
favorite cuisine?
I'm very partial to Oriental cuisine. So I am very fond of Thai, I'm fond of Chinese, and closer home, I'm very, very fond of coastal cuisine.
Okay, lovely.
My
What's your
rock bottom, I'm a Punjabi, but my rock bottom priority is Punjabi food.
oh and what's your favorite destination vacation in India?
Oh, I am a trekker. I take off when COVID had allowed it. I tried to do at least one high altitude trek every year. So, in fact, my
Okay.
50th birthday, I rung up in a very, very remote place where it was -8 degrees in the morning itself. So, I'm that kind of a
Where is that
remote
place?
person. That was, we'd gone to Chanshil, that is on the border of Uttarakhand and Himachal. So that was a very uncharted territory. So
Okay. And
I'm very
internationally?
much. I don't have one favorite place. I've traveled a lot. I like
But
Thailand because एक comfortable हो जाता है. It's a little bit more comfortable with your passport and everything. I've
yeah.
Europe. I really enjoyed Greece and Spain. US, even though my daughter studies in New York, she's going to kill me if she watches this. I don't like New York. When somebody says New York frame of mind, मेरे को tension हो जाती है. For me, New York frame of mind is like, hypothermia and tension. But I prefer California side. I prefer California side a little
Okay,
bit
one
more.
of my students there in California, very close one. So
And
next year I
Bhutan.
intend.
Bhutan
And
is a
Bhutan.
beautiful place. So
Yeah, I've
all
heard
these
that.
places I've been to, but if you're asking favorite place to go back to, I do believe कि अब पता नहीं कितनी जिंदगी है, I might as well see new destinations. अब कब
Yeah.
होता है भगवान जाने, but yeah.
हाँ, अरे बहुत जल्दी हो जाएगा. उम्मीद पे दुनिया कायम है. और your favorite drink? Don't tell me water, huh? And Coke.
No, no, no. Am I allowed to say it and not be castigated in public for this?
I say it. I don't bother what the public
I'm a
thinks.
whiskey drinker, whiskey on the rocks.
Oh wow. Oh wow. I love the
Whiskey
red
is
wine,
my whiskey is
but
my
I have
favorite
started
poison.
enjoying whiskey. I've started enjoying whiskey. So okay, so we have a date on whiskey also.
Sure.
So and what is your favorite color?
Blue. Oh my God, it has to be blue. Every time I tell myself ki ek aur blue will not make it to my cupboard, I have blue. I'm
And
just drawn to blue.
what is your favorite dress? Like, what do you love wearing?
Sari. And I absolutely love wearing the sari. Otherwise, I'm pretty agnostic to what I wear. Most of my day is spent in tracks and in a t-shirt. I'm a very
Okay,
comfort-driven person. By the way, I'm not high fashion. The only change, I go straight from tracks to a sari.
okay. And what is your favorite perfume?
Poison. I like the dark wooded ones. I very often use my husband's perfume because for women, they give you the floral ones, which I don't like. I must have been a man. I must have been a man. I got pushed on the opposite side of the line बाहर निकलते हुए. किसी ने धक्का दे दिया मुझे. All right.
Because bingo, whenever I go for perfume shopping, I always tell them, don't show me ladies' perfume. I hate the floral ones. And I love the strong, heavy dose of uh
Incidentally, Alaknanda, when I go buying shopping, I mean, when I go shopping, even for my gear, for my t-shirts, etc., I somehow tend to like men's selection more than women's. तो
yes,
मेरे size में
yes,
मिलता नहीं है. मेरे size में मिलता
ha,
नहीं है. And I'll end up always having a fight that, why are women always restricted to pinks and purples? I hate it.
yeah. And
Even shoes, men have more
shoes.
variety than women.
Oh, even in कड़ा, I went fighting in the jewelry store कि लड़कियों के लिए कड़ा क्यों नहीं बनता लड़कों का जैसा. कहता मैडम कोई लड़की पहनती नहीं है. मैंने कहा मैं पहनती हूँ ना बनाओ
Ah,
मेरे लिए कड़ा. I
I know.
they'll make that flimsy bangles. So even I have. Do you have a knack for jewelry?
Uh, Not really. I love to wear it, but I'm very lazy. I'm very lazy.
Okay.
एक ही ईयरिंग है जो मेरे कान में सारा टाइम रहती है and I'm good with that. But yeah, when you invite me, तो देखो मैंने मेहनत करी है भैया, ऐसी बात नहीं है. हवा लगाई है मैंने.
So sweet. Thank you so much. पर आप ऐसी भी बहुत खूबसूरत है.
Thank you.
Very beautiful. Yes. Now I would like to ask, what is your advice, and what is that dream that you have still to realize, and what is that one thing you would give an advice to the younger generation of dancers?
See, my advice to myself is very pure and simple. Always stay interesting to yourself. The day I stop being interesting to myself, I don't think anything that I do in life will be interesting at all, whatever it is. And I don't like to be straitjacketed. My mantra in life is never say never. You never know what you take to, down the road or how you start thinking. So never say never. Today you hold your ground and you say कि मैं ऐसा करती हूँ या ऐसा कभी नहीं करूँगी. It may change. For the young dancers specifically is that, uh, you have to be very patient with your art form. Like I said earlier, young dancers have a lot of avenues these days, but you cannot rush the process. There is something that only comes with experience. There is something that only comes with time. You have to respect that. So don't be in a hurry to behave or get where you will get after a point of time. Stick with it. And really, the more you practice, start transcending beyond just perfecting the physical aspect of it. Start also realizing the philosophy, the emotion behind your dance, and that's going to really define how you are going to be as not just a dancer, but even as a person.
Right,
I think it's going to define your interactions with everybody around you.
right.
And yes, like you very rightly said, what you tell your students, definitely look after your finances. Very, very important in today's time. Look after your
Yes,
finances. Don't be myopic in your approach to anything, and give your all to your art form. You will have
absolutely.
bad days. Perhaps the bad days will be more than the good days, but that's a life curve. You have to travel along the curve. You can't jump it.
Right. Amazing, Vani. It has been amazing, and I'm so happy that we got to talking for so long, and so many things in which I think it's bingo with you and me, and quite we are quite telepathic. We are wearing the kalamkari. Both of us
Yes.
are wearing kalamkari saris, and
Yes. Yes.
it is amazing to
There you
speak to you
go.
because yes, and I love for saris. So it has been amazing with you, and definitely this platform gives me to come and talk to you and share your life, and the way you all open up, it is really amazing. And also that the audience and the generation next gets to see the your life the way which they don't get to see or hear on stage, because dance and life both are on the same tracks, and they're not on different tracks, and we cannot walk away from both of them. And it was amazing speaking to you. Thank you so much, Vani.
Thank
Thank
you, Alaknanda, for inviting me, and thank you for setting the tone for this conversation. You know, I think there is one license you get with age, which is again something for the younger generation. You really become very strong with your convictions. Like I said earlier, you know, kuch to log kahenge, logon ka kaam hai kehna, but it gives you the conviction to be true to who you are. And for the younger lot, that is something more than anything else you must always aspire to, being true to
absolutely.
yourself. And courage takes time. Courage takes time, but courage needs to be inculcated. You must inculcate courage along with any other proficiency that you choose in life. So thank
It's
you.
very important.
Thank you. And I had warned you earlier that if you name a show called Oops, I Said It. And as anybody who knows me, I don't mince words.
Yes, I think that's why destiny got us together. You know, Vani.
But I mean
And
well. I have a sarcastic sense of humor. I have been
it's
told that.
good. It makes life spicy, and I love spicy food
Yes,
and
yes.
spicy life.
But I am open-hearted. I say that myself. I'm open-hearted. I may not come across that way because a lot of people find me as very reserved. But see where this conversation goes. आप बात तो करो मेरे साथ, फिर आप जानोगे कि मैं क्या हूँ.
Thank you. And Lakshman Raji said, well said, practical advice. Yeah,
Thank
बिल्कुल.
you.
भूखे पेट नाचना मुश्किल है. So please keep an alternative career. The young generation is smart. We are smart. So see that you have money for your bread, butter, and cake, and you invest properly in your passion, because dance and art needs an investment. Investment of finance, and the outcome is of success, fun, love, spirituality, and lots of friends in the fraternity, if you're honest, to be a good friend. So thank you so much, Vani, and see you again very
Look
soon.
forward
Very,
to
very
it. And I
soon.
really hope that we can now sit across the table and not across the screen and continue the conversation. Thank you once again. It's been a pleasure. And my heartfelt thanks to all of you who've tuned in from everywhere. No
Thank
offense
you.
meant to anyone, but I have
Yes.
really had all on this show.
You had a very good time. And कल फिर मिलेंगे 7 बजे, 7 बजे नहीं उठाइए, 7 बजे, 7 बजे, 7 बजे, क्योंकि कल हमारे साथ और एक डांसर होगी, and we are going to know about her journey. And tomorrow it's going to be Carolina Prada from the Chow style of dance, and let's see what she has to talk about her journey. And I think it's going to be very interesting. But again, the COVID is still there. It's still on a rise, unfortunately. So wear your mask, wash your hands, sanitize them, and keep a distance. But yes, love life and live life larger than that you can dream of, and dreams do come true. Pray and sleep. कल मिलते हैं. नमस्कार, शबा खैर. Good night, शुभ रात्रि. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.